Final word, Adam Collins, Geoff Lemon, after the second day here at the Oval. Another eventful day of Test cricket. Geoff, you better sum it up in 30 seconds. Again, my best wishes to you in that.
53 for 3 when England resumed. Umesh knocked off 2 more quickly. It looked like England could be bowled out well behind India's score, but then the rebuild began. Ollie Pope and Johnny Bairstow put on 109, and then India tried hard. They kept chipping away. They kept prizing out wickets, but there were always runs in between. Pope made 81, Moeen Ali 35, Chris Woakes 50 from 60 balls, and that pushed England out to a 99-run lead. India wiped off 43 of those before Stumps, Rowett and Rahul still there ready to go again tomorrow. Good Test match.
It is indeed. And look, Geoff, well summarised first of all. I think we compare almost everything that happened today back to 2 overs. The start of the second hour, after drinks, of course, Umesh had 2 wickets to begin, bringing up his 150th in Test cricket along the way. A superb first spell. Of course, I love the idea of Kohli changing him from end to end, by the way, but that's a whole different thing. And then the 2 overs after drinks, they hit 28 runs. They struck 7 boundaries. And that's where Bairstow and Pope just assert themselves on the day. And from there, I mean, that 89-run stand was at a really decent clip either side of lunch. Indeed, I think it even got into the final... it didn't get into the final session. It was after lunch where Bairstow fell. But the point is that from there, England played with confidence. They didn't go back into their shells. They allowed themselves to keep batting in a positive manner, scoring quickly enough that when they did lose wickets, they were already up beyond India's first innings tally of 191. So, when Trevor Bayliss was coach of this team, the instruction of playing positive cricket at all costs was one that was a little bit derided. But maybe today's a legacy of that when they get in trouble, they do know how to keep the foot down without it getting to their heads. And Bairstow was part of that, Moeen Ali was part of that, and Chris Woakes, superb. A half century alongside James Anderson for much of that. His return to the Test team has been outstanding with ball and bat.
Well, maybe it was about the 3 of those players, Bairstow, Moeen and Woakes, all being part of that previous era. They were involved in the team when that was the way to go, and they did keep the foot down. And I'm sure Moeen Ali will be criticised for the big shot that he played, getting caught for 35 when he looked pretty well set. But part of that was the desire to keep the pressure on India. This day for me, the whole day, the story of the whole day that kept going through my head was, is this the point where India are going to start really badly missing Ravichandran Ashwin? Is this where they really regret leaving him out? Because there were a range of moments through the day where, the pitch eased, batting started to look relatively easy, particularly when Pope was out there. There were long periods without a wicket, and you kept thinking, it'd be really handy for India to be able to throw the ball to Ashwin right now, to have a guy who can make the batters wait, who can give the ball some flight, make it hang up there, make it drop on players, and perhaps help make them walk into mistakes that they wouldn't otherwise make. Having that option would have been really useful at a range of times, but India just got away with it. They were just able to keep chiselling out a wicket every time it looked like it might be about to get beyond them, and it just stayed in reach. England could have put them away had England been a bit more disciplined today. They might have still been there at Stumps, and they might have been 150 in front, and the Test match might have been gone, but India is still in it now.
Yeah, I think on the other side of that, I think that England were, I think at one stage, 63 for 5, I reckon, or thereabouts. I mean, you're thinking there a 99-run first innings lead from that stage is very unlikely. So Chris Woakes was part of that. Bairstow, yes, he gets his front pad blown off again, but a fine piece of bowling to bring it back off the seam, the wobble seam. The way that Ollie Pope played at this home ground of his, he has a first-class average here before today of exactly 100. It'll drop just below 100 now, of course, because he was out for 81. But nevertheless, it's what England have been crying out for, having some support for Joe Root, or a player who can stand up when Root doesn't make runs. Of course, he was out late yesterday, and that's what Pope was able to do today. He was the spine of the innings, coming in at number 6. Of course, would have been 5 if not for the fact that Overton was night watchman. So all told, a really impressive performance from him. And then with the ball at the end of play, Geoff, they just couldn't get the breakthrough. There was a drop catch from Rory Burns at second slip that was basically dropped off his shin. He didn't pick it up at all. That was when Rohit Sharma was on 6 from the bowling of Anderson from this end, the Vauxhall end, and Robertson was spun around at the end. It just didn't quite work, and maybe that might deflate them somewhat, but still 56 runs in the black going into the third day. It's perfectly set up here at the Oval. It's going to be a beautiful weekend by all reports according to the forecast. I can't wait.
Well, we've seen how fast wickets can slide in this series once they start to go. So I think England will always have that in the back of their minds. Even if it's 150 for none tomorrow, that doesn't mean that it couldn't be 220 all out. Like, you just don't know the way this series has gone, and the difficulty that players have had in starting. But when players got set today, it did look to become relatively easier. So you could make that case for Ashwin that I mentioned before, but all of the bowlers in the side did their part. It was Bumrah who kicked it off on the first evening, got those 2 wickets to start things off. Umesh was probably the most important. He got Joe Root out, which was the vital breakthrough, and then getting David Malan quickly this morning so that he couldn't go on, getting the night watchman Overton quickly as well. Thakur got the one that decks back in to get rid of Pope, and Siraj got the one that came back in to get rid of Johnny Bairstow, that quick in-ducker that Siraj is so good at bowling. Jadeja picked up 2 wickets as well, tempting players to have a go at him, and he's a pretty hard bowler to hit. He's got a lot of white ball experience to stop anybody from smashing him if that's their bent. And things did get pretty T20 international towards the end there, when you had the slower balls being bowled to Chris Woakes, the bouncers trying to keep him on strike at the end of an over so that they could get at Anderson and all the rest.
Geoff, I've got to make it a quick one today, so I'm going to throw straight to the Hall of Fame. What are you putting in there?
What am I putting in there? I mean, I suppose the fact that we heard so much earlier in the summer about how England players needed lots of red ball cricket to prepare for test matches. Who are the best performers in this test match? Ollie Pope and Chris Woakes, guys who have not played any cricket at all for about, 5 years or something. So they came in and looked right at home. Woakes 50, 4 wickets, Ollie Pope 81. No worries at all, apparently, when you haven't played any cricket.
A quick nomination for the birthday cake for Mohammed Shami that he cut himself with the bib on towards the end of play, and James Anderson's reverse sweep. We knew it was coming and we all loved it when it got there. Geoff, let's pull the plug on this one because I've got to get moving and my voice is breaking as well. It's been that kind of day. It's been a beautiful day, a wonderful day of Test cricket here at the Oval. Cannot wait for the weekend. If you like what we're doing on The Final Word, patreon.com/The Final Word. Find all our old shows as well. We'll talk to you tomorrow. It's going to be great.